In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a teleprompter and look natural. So many of my clients use scripts or a teleprompter to nail exactly what they want to say. There's a lot of benefits to using a teleprompter when recording videos and just a few negatives. In this video, I'm going to go over benefits, cons, and a few tips. My biggest tip when using a teleprompter is you have to know your material. Obviously, you'll need to think through and write out your main points or your full script and practice your natural inflections. So here are some benefits to using a teleprompter and a few tricks to make you look good. Benefit number one, you can word for word read your lines. I found this most helpful for short, punchy scripts. So 1-minute ads or 30-second ads. It's really helpful to have exactly the words that you need to say so you can really nail it. Word for word reading the lines is also helpful when you're using a statistic or a fact so you don't get those wrong. And again, have it word for word so that you can say it perfectly. Benefit number two is you can control the speed. I've found it helpful when it's more of an outline and you're hitting different bullet points. So tell the story, tell the fact, share the experience. If it's more of a personal story, you can kind of pause it and tell the story there or explain the idea there. And it's helpful to control the speed when you're following your natural cadence and it's not getting too far ahead of you. So it's nice to be able to control the speed of the teleprompter. Benefit number three is it can seem seamless if you know your material. So again, this goes to practicing it beforehand, just really meditating and soaking up all the material that you're going to be sharing. And then when you have a script or outline to go through, you know what transitions are, the next talking points, and it can seem really seamless. Another benefit is that it's not always obvious. So it depends on the teleprompter that you use, but I prefer to use the smaller phone teleprompter, that's the Parrot one, versus a bigger iPad one. Now I like to use a phone teleprompter because it fits the screen more completely, whereas an iPad goes above the lens and it can seem like you're looking just a hair above the center of the screen. Another benefit is that it's better than notes that are like taped below the camera because then you'll keep looking down and it looks kind of awkward. So what's nice is that it mirrors exactly the lines that you want to see. And so you're not having to adjust your eye, your view, and look at where your notes are. It looks like you're looking at the screen, at the camera, at the lens, and it just looks more professional. Another benefit is that it's better than using a clicker in your hand for PowerPoint slides. So I've seen a client do a PowerPoint slide, again, that was right under the camera, and it just seems awkward when they would pull out the clicker and click to the next point because it wasn't like a presentation that was in the back or the screen that you could see. It was just awkwardly below. So a teleprompter is better because again, it just mirrors onto the lens so it looks like you're looking at the camera. Now, a downside to using a teleprompter is if you don't know your material, it can look and sound really fake. Now, this is emphasized if you are reading line for line and you're kind of just monotone, looking at the screen, la 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 la. It's not engaging. You need to know your material so that you can be engaging with it. Talk with your hands, emphasize the points that you're trying to make and seem really confident in what you're saying. Another downside to using a teleprompter is that the ending can sound kind of awkward. So naturally when we speak and we're making a point, we tend to end on a down inflection. So like, all right, catch you later is more of a down than like, all right, catch you later. It leaves you a little bit like curious. So when you're using a teleprompter and ending, you've got to be really aware of how you're like saying the end point. Because if you just read it like how it's read, then it can just sound kind of flat. So you want to remind yourself to go down with your note. Like, all right, catch you later. You guys hear the difference? All right, catch you later versus, all right, catch you later. It's different. Another downside to using a teleprompter is you can't use slides with images. Teleprompters just load text. So this can be a downside if you're using a PowerPoint presentation and you're trying to visually show the different slides, but obviously those can be added in post. So you just have to be mindful of what material you're loading onto your teleprompter. Another downside that I see my clients having with using a teleprompter is if the text is too small, you're squinting to try to read it. And that just does not look natural, does not look good on camera. So you need to be mindful of telling the person, me, the videographer, that the text is too small for you to read, or to use a bigger screen, bigger teleprompter. All right, so some quick tips for when using my teleprompter is note the size that you need. So think about your vision. I have pretty good vision, so I can use a phone teleprompter, but some of my older clients need to have a bigger screen so they can see more, which is totally fine, totally understandable. But I have 2 different teleprompters that you can choose from, so just let me know which one you would prefer. Another tip that I've already said, but I'm emphasizing it again because it is so important, is to know your material. You need to know what you're presenting so that it seems confident, seems seamless, and you're not stuttering and making mistakes. So know your material. With knowing your material, I would say it's definitely important to practice beforehand. Walk around reading the script out loud, look in the mirror reading the script and just practice, practice, practice. Again, with practice comes knowing your inflection. So which notes to go up or down on, knowing how you want to land your script and your lines perfectly. Another tip that I have, and it is pretty obvious, but email me your latest edition of the script. Even if that's the day of, the morning of, you've adjusted it and revised a couple things, it's totally fine. Just give me the latest, most up-to-date version of your script. My last tip is to have a strong ending. So again, end on a low inflection so that it sounds natural and it sounds like a good transition out of what you're talking about. I hope these tips were helpful and that you know that you can use the teleprompter super naturally, just takes knowing your material. All right, catch you later.